Oh hi there, enemy caster. Nice looking spell list you have. It would be a shame if you couldn't target anyone with them. G'day, I am James from Zalgariath Gaming and welcome to Spell Focus, where we cast an arcane eye over a D&D 5e spell and see what makes it tick. This week I've wanted to take a peek at an often overlooked level 2 spell, Blindness, Deafness. This spell has seen some improvements made to it in the 2024 rules, but I also feel it's one that has a lot more in-game utility than it is often given credit for. Now before we hear more about it, listen up and don't forget to grab your ZG character sheet and a d20 so you can sound off in the pinned comments of the micro-adventure at the end of this video. There are just two little changes to the 2014 version of Blindness Deafness spell in the 2024 Player's Handbook, but the second one I think takes it from a rarely used utility option to a combat-capable defensive staple. Firstly, the spell has moved from the school of necromancy to the school of transmutation. So I suppose instead of wilting your opponent's optical nerves or bursting an eardrum, you're now, I don't know, growing hair to block the ear canal? Nah. I think it was fine as a necro spell, but other spells in the vision affecting family like dark vision are transmutation, and true seeing is divination. To hell with your consistency. More important than the gross magical effect it has on your target, however, is that it can now do so from much further away. 4 times in fact. I think one of the reasons the 2014 version of the spell was often skipped over when mages were choosing their lists is the miserly 30-foot range. And you, as a spellcaster, finding yourself in that situation close to an enemy, probably have greater concerns and better options on hand than disabling the opponent's eyes or ears. Now Blindness Deafness can wrap your foe in darkness or silence from 120 feet, and that's the game changer. Oh, did I mention this spell also does not require concentration, so it is great for potentially long-distance, minute-long debuffs, setting up other types of combos for your party. The spell gives you a choice each time it is cast between imposing the blinded or the deafened condition on the target or targets when upcast, who fails a constitution saving throw. Now, obviously, perhaps enforcing the blinded condition on a foe is usually more advantageous than the deafened condition. I know I'd rather be deaf than blind. So let's take a look at the eye-poking version first. Rules as written and pretty much identical in 2014 and 2024 Player's Handbook state a blinded creature cannot see and automatically fails any ability checks that require sight. Duh. Attack rolls against the creature have advantage? Yay. And the creature's attack rolls have disadvantage. This is already pretty nasty for any target, but choosing the right target and we can optimize the usage of this level 2 spell. Now I am not here to enter the hotly debated Reddit topic of if disadvantage is a harsh enough penalty to impose upon ranged attacks when we play a fantasy game that involves magic and dragons. Let's just consider the rules as written scenario as being the least powerful baseline for your game, and you can tinker it to your own liking. But I will say that your magical elven archer does have senses other than their sight, and creatures can be tracked in ways other than looking at them, so I'll leave it up to you as the DM of whether or not you play this raw or not. For me, the real threat of this spell comes in removing options from the arsenal of enemy spellcasters, many of whom do not exactly have the beefiest constitutions, just saying. A huge number of ranged spells in the game have these lovely words early in their text box regarding target selection. That you can see. Bane, Banishment, Befuddlement, Blight, ironically Blindness Deafness, Call Lightning, Chain Lightning, Charm spells, Hold spells, Command, Conjure Animals, yes that bonkers broken druid spell from last week and favourite of enemy shamans cannot be cast if the creature has the blinded condition because they cannot see the point in which they are casting to. Add to this that ranged attacks like Firebolt and Eldritch Blast still get that disadvantage that an archer would have, and honestly, you've got some seriously high-powered disabling effects on your high DPS enemies hiding in the back lines of combat from a safe distance, which you can now hit because of the 120-foot extension. That's pretty cool. Especially as your save DC goes up, hopefully their save, which they get at the end of each of their turns, fails, and you can keep them in the dark or deafened for multiple turns, advantaging your party massively. Keep in mind you've not only nerfed their offensive capabilities, but your party now has advantage to hit them. They will auto-fail Fireball and other dex saves, so your level 2 spell could effectively turn the tide of entire encounter if it is swinging around a single powerful spellcaster. That is where this spell comes into its own. We haven't even touched the utility value of the spell outside of combat. Need to eliminate an enemy witness without eliminating the enemy witness? Blindness! Sneaking past guards? How passé. Blindness! Don't want the judge to hear the testimony that incriminates your rogue who accidentally found the local moneylender's ledger in their backpack? Again? Deafness! To be honest, it's pretty much all one-way traffic when choosing the condition to use in this spell. In most combat and utility applications, having a blinded opponent is better than having a deafened opponent in 95% of cases that I can think of. So I got thinking, what if I trawl through the D&D Beyond spell list and monster stat blocks looking for some slightly more elusive words that you can hear? My logic being, instead of deafening the enemy, what if you used it to protect an ally? In the 2024 rules, players can now willingly choose to fail a saving throw, and I, like a lot of DMs using the 2014 rules, would have allowed this anyway because it kind of makes sense. So I was trying to find examples of where not being able to hear offered you or your party a tactical advantage. Sadly, I only had limited joy. What sent me down this line of pondering was a creature I know called the Gibbering Mouther, who will feature very soon in a creature feature. I remembered its wickedly dangerous gibbering ability that can disable a player each turn that relied on them being able to hear it, which was true in 2014. In 2024, the D&D game designers removed this particular target requirement, so I turned to the Harpy and their luring song ability, and yes, the song must be heard to take effect if you are in the 2014 rules. Once again, this has been removed from 2024, the you could hear part anyway. What gives? Now, I'm all for simplification to speed up combat, but in these circumstances that obviously rely on hearing and have purposely been shunted to save a few words in the stat blocks, I can't say I agree this was the best idea. At my table, I'd reward the clever use of the Blindness Deafness spell to avert these creatures' abilities, but rules as written, Deafness has been almost completely nerfed as a defensive tactic, except for a few spells. Being deaf would protect you from speech-based spells like Compulsion, Dissonant Whispers, Enthrall, Suggestion, and Mass Suggestion in 2014. Again, the hearing line for the targets was removed to simplify the spells in 2024 on all of them except for Suggestion, and I'm beginning to think that that was a typo because it's obvious this was a conscious and deliberate choice to downplay the role hearing plays in the core rules. Ironically, perhaps the one-word spell Command does not require your target to hear you, but it does require you to see the target, so Blindness! All day, every day, and this spell will help protect your party from the worst enemy casters can throw at you. Now, as always, if you are after some Bard, Cleric, Sorcerer, or Wizard class-based spell cards for your sight-robbing, sound-dampening needs that come with a selection of suitable condition marker tokens for your gaming table, I'll have links below to affordable, print-your-own versions designed by me here at Zalgariath Gaming. Now let us return to rubbing on empty. Narrowly escaping the ambush at the creek, you and Blue Bagan continue on and hit the main road which leads to Chatty's Wood. The first buildings come into view nestled amongst the trees. Indeed, some of the structures had used these mighty eucalypts to act as a frame, allowing them to grow high up towards the canopy. Just outside of the town gates, you see a blind beggar pushing a small cart into the busy high road. A stagecoach is charging towards her, and it is clear that they will not be able to stop in time. Blowy dashes forward and tries to spook the horses with a wisdom animal handling check. Whew. You are 30 feet away and have but moments to act. What do you do? See you in the pinned comments.